तो हेलो दोस्तों, तो मैं हूं आपका दोस्त, आपका भाई नवीन। तो आगे हम एक नया वीडियो लेकर, जिसका टॉपिक है, आज हम लोग बी आई क्लास 9 के क्लास का चैप्टर पढ़ने वाले, दैट इज चैप्टर 1। एंड बिफोर वी रीड, द स्टोरी वी शैल रीड इज सेट इन द फ्यूचर when books and schools as we now know them will perhaps not exist. How will children study then? The diagram below may give you some ideas. समझिए, जैसे कि यहाँ देख रहे होंगे, लर्निंग थ्रू कंप्यूटर्स, वर्चुअल क्लासरूम, मूविंग ई टेक्स्ट, रोबोटिक टीचर्स. In pairs, discuss these things that you like best about your school and 3 things about your school that you would like to change. Write them down. Have you ever read words on television or computer screen? Can you imagine a time when all books will be on computers and there will be no books printed on paper? Would you like such books better? समझिए, तो एक लड़का है जैसे मार्गी इवन wrote about it that night in her diary. On the page headed 70 May 2057, she wrote, "Today Tommy found a real book. It was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. They turned the pages, which were yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words, crinkly with many folds or lines. And it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen. You know, and then when the turned back to the page before, it had the same word on it that it had when they read it the first time." "Gee," said Tommy, "what a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away, I guess. Our television screen must have had a million books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away." मैं इसको फेंकूंगा नहीं. Same with mine. सेम मेरे जैसा हुआ, said Margie. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. वो 11 साल का था और अभी तक उसने ये सारे टेलीबुक्स जो टॉमी के पास थे उसने आज तक देखे नहीं थे. He was 13. जो टॉमी था वो 13 था. She said, "Where did you find it?" "In my house." He pointed without looking because he was busy reading in the attic. "What's it about?" "School." Margie was scornful. Exactly. What's there to write about school? I hate school. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. मार्गी ने हमेशा स्कूल को हेट किया, पर आज वो पहले से ज़्यादा हेट कर रही है. The mechanical teacher and had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse. समझिए, उसके जो जोग्राफी टीचर थे, मैकेनिकल टीचर थे, जोग्राफी का टेस्ट बार बार ले रहा था और बार बार वो वोट्स कर रहे थे अपने पेपर में और यूँ बैड करने जा रहे थे. Until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent to for the country inspector. समझिए, he was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple, then took the teacher apart. Margie had hoped wouldn't know how to put it together again, but he knew how all right, and after an hour so, big screen on which large and black and ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. That wasn't so bad. The part Margie hated. समझ गए. Most was the slot where she had to put homework and test papers. She always had to write them out in a punch code. They made her learn when she was 6 years old, and the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. So yeah, the inspector had a smile after he was finished and patted Margie's head. He said to her mother, "It's not the little girl's fault, Mrs. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. Those things happen sometimes. I have slowed it up to an average 10-year level. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory." And the patted Margie's head again. Margie was disappointed. She had been hoping they would take the teacher away altogether. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because the history sector had blanked out completely. So she said to Tommy, "Why would anyone write about school? कोई स्कूल के बारे में क्यों लिखेगा?" Tommy looked at her with very superior eyes. "Because it's not our kind of school. Stupid. This is the old kind of school that there had hundreds and hundreds of years ago," he added laughably, pronouncing the word carefully. Centuries ago. Margie was hurt. "Well, I don't know what kind of a school they had all the time ago." She read the book over his shoulders for a while, then said, "Anyway, they had a teacher." Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher, it was a man. A man. How could a man be a teacher? Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked